Hi, how's everyone doing? Hope you had a great week, and I did too. In fact, this week I heard a story related by Steve Harvey. I have a ritual every morning when I'm commuting in my car. I listen to him, and if I'm still in the car at the time he does these closing remarks, he'll give some advice, a tip, a story, or something like that. Well, this particular time he related a story. It's not new. I heard this story years ago, but hearing it just reminded me of the significance of it again. And I'm going to relate it to you because it has a lot to do with how we look at things when life starts throwing lemons our way, when things don't work according to plan. And I'll tell you the story as I remember it. There was this rich guy. He woke up one morning and, he breathed deeply. He looked around at all the stuff he had and he was happy. It was a beautiful day, so he decided, I'm going to kiss my wife goodbye. I'm going to take the boat out and enjoy a little free time to myself. So he does that. He's out on the ocean. Everything's well. He's laying back chilling. And all of a sudden a storm comes out of nowhere. Now this storm, it just batters his boat, rocks it all day long. It's not a short one. This thing keeps going all the way into the night. Eventually it gets so bad that he's thrown overboard. So he's floundering about in the sea, loses consciousness, and the next morning he wakes up on a deserted island. Now he doesn't know where he is or what he's going to do. All he has is the clothes on his back and a couple of items in his pocket. So he looks around the island. He tries to figure out, what am I going to do for food? How am I going to make a fire? He subsists on coconuts and bananas for several days. And then eventually it looks like help is not coming. So he decides, well, I'm going to make the best of the situation and I'm going to build a shelter. So he cobbles together this lean-to from logs and palm fronds and vines, and he has a shelter. Then he teaches himself how to spearfish. Guy has a few fish. Eventually he makes a fire and he can cook his fish and keep warm under his little lean-to. His mood begins to lift. Then one night, a storm blows back in again, and it's blowing hard. He's huddled under his shelter. He's got the fire going. He's trying to keep warm. He's saying to himself, well, I got my fire. I got my shelter. If I can wait this out, I'll be good till the morning comes. Lo and behold, the wind takes one of the embers from his fire, blows it into his shelter, and that thing just goes up like a candle. He tries desperately to put the fire out, but he can't put it out. And eventually, his shelter is burnt to a cinder. He has nothing. The rain is still pouring down. It's bone-chilling cold. He's huddling. He doesn't know what to do next, and eventually he just loses it. He stands up. He starts screaming at the sky, and he's like, why me? Why is all of this bad stuff happening to me? I'm a good guy. I had a great life. I was doing everything right. I had a loving family. I had millions in the bank. I had a great business. I had the esteem of my peers. Now it's just all gone. Why, God? He's blaming God now. Why are you doing this to me? I don't understand. And he utters those famous words that we all utter at one point or another. It's just not fair. He's screaming at the sky. He gets no response. Not that he was expecting one. Then he just collapses on the ground and starts sobbing. Sometime over the course of the night, he falls asleep again out of sheer exhaustion. Wakes up the next morning with the sun shining on his face, and he looks out into the distance and he notices there's a large ship offshore anchored. Not only that, but there's a little boat with some guys in it and they're rowing their way to shore. And he's like, oh my God, can this actually be? Am I finally going to be rescued? The guys get out of the boat. They come to shore. He just runs up to them and he just gives them all this big bear hug. He's crying, he's sobbing, tears of joy. And he finally gets around to asking, how did you know I was here? And so one of the guys said, I don't understand. Last night, We saw your signal fire, so we knew someone is in trouble. We changed course and we came here to rescue you. And it suddenly dawns on the man, the fire last night that I thought was the end of all my happiness was actually my source of rescue. So what's the moral of the story? In short, life can be going along well. We can be firing on all cylinders, and then all of a sudden it can just go left. Everything can just collapse. And we can wonder, why is this happening to us? We can get all negative. We can get that Job complex, that persecution complex. We can start blaming everyone and everything around us for what's going on and just sink into a deep depression. But that's not going to do us or anyone around us any good. And when this happens, we really got to get a hold of ourselves. And there's 3 questions that we can ask to keep ourselves positive and keep ourselves on the right track. Because in life, it's not what happens to us. 90% of our life situation is how we react to what happens to us. 10% is only what happens. It has very little effect. So we can ask 3 questions. Keep these 3 questions in mind. The first one is, what have I learned that I can use to keep this from happening again? See, life is a series of learning lessons. There's always something to be learned. And sometimes, unfortunately, the best lessons are the ones we learn the hard way. So we can always look back over our choices, look at the people surrounding us, look at the circumstances, the decisions that we made, and say to ourselves, okay, what can I do better next time to make sure this situation is not repeated again? The second question that we can have, which is very important, is, what do I still have that I can be appreciative for? Living in a state of gratitude is key, because if you're grateful, you're always open to good things coming into your life. When opportunity knocks, you're going to open. But if you're negative, if you're miserable, if you're always looking for someone to blame, if you get down on yourself and you're asking, why me? It's not fair. When opportunity knocks, you're not even going to answer the door because you're so busy caught up in your feelings with the woe is me complex. So always live in a state of gratitude. The third question you can ask yourself is, okay, what new opportunities may be presenting themselves that I may not necessarily be seeing right away? Sometimes you got to look hard. Sometimes when you lose your job, you're like, how is this an opportunity? Maybe it's an opportunity to explore a new career path. Maybe it's an opportunity to start a new business. Maybe it's an opportunity to widen your circle. Connect with people who might open up new opportunities to you. Maybe it's an opportunity to learn a new skill. Further your education, get a degree. When life closes this door, well, what other doors may be opening up that I'm not seeing? See, asking these questions will always keep you alert to new opportunities, and it'll keep you positive. If you keep these 3 questions in mind, whenever things happen, whenever you have setbacks, and I'm not saying this is a magic pill, you're going to have your highs and you're going to have your lows. That's life. You got to show up every day and you got to deal with it nonetheless. But you can affect what happens to you to a large degree with the attitude you have going into and coming out of any given circumstance. So keep those things in mind. I hope you find them useful. I found them helpful myself in keeping me positive when life just kept throwing blows at me. If you found this helpful, please, as I always say, go over to my blog at www.orgforlifesolutions.com, sign up, join my email list, and you'll get continuing positive articles like this and emails. And I also want to announce that I got something new on my site. When you join my email list, you will be enrolled in my free e-course, 5 Days of Focus. Now, what does this course do for you? Well, it helps you to envision your dream life. Then it helps you to uncover your why. It will reveal to you what obstacles you can expect to encounter along the way. and also what solutions you can come up with beforehand, before those obstacles even come up, so you're prepared to deal with them. And finally, it will help you to see how you can set smart goals, realistic goals that will support your dream life and get you to where you want to be. So hurry on over there, join up, go through the course. It's free. You'll also get a bonus PDF that goes along with it, and I'm sure you'll get a lot of benefit out of it. So I always wish you the very best in all your endeavors. And in closing, I leave you with my usual refrain: own it, be it, achieve it. Have a great day.